Today, we are undertaking a deep dive that I think fundamentally shifts how you experience the world around you.
It really does.
We've got this incredible stack of source material, and it's all centered on a concept called the Ghost Protocol,
Right.
which is basically a set of tactical mental tools for, well, for thriving in really crowded, complex environments.
And we should be clear, this is not about making you paranoid.
Not at all. It's the opposite, actually. It's about achieving what the sources call genuine presence and sovereignty of awareness.
I like that phrase.
Me too. Okay, so let's unpack this and maybe reclaim some cognitive ground.
The mission here is to move you from being, a passive participant in your environment.
Which is most of us most of the time.
Most of us.
Yeah.
And moving you to become an active, sovereign observer. We're extracting the core methods for what the pros call high-density situational awareness.
So learning how to move safely through places like the concrete canyons of Denver or maybe the neon-soaked corridors of Las Vegas.
Exactly. Places where the entire environment is designed to confuse your senses, or where everyone is just completely lost in their own world.
Because the default state for us now is what the sources call the digital trance. We're all just heads down, eyes locked on a screen.
And that makes you a liability, a predictable one.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of the Ghost Protocol is to defeat that. You stop being a potential victim, a participant, and you start being the observer. You become the ghost who sees things coming.
To even begin that process, though, you first have to defeat your own brain's default settings.
Oh, absolutely.
The sources get into something they call the neurological rut. Since we were kids, especially in Western cultures, we've been trained to process information left to right for reading.
It's efficient for reading.
Super efficient. But it makes us incredible skimmers and terrible observers.
And that efficiency, while it's great for getting through your email, it's absolutely disastrous for tactical awareness. It leads to inattentional blindness.
That's the enemy of the Ghost Protocol.
It is the primary enemy. Your brain's #1 job is just energy conservation. So it anticipates what should be there, fills in the blanks, and filters out anything it decides isn't essential.
So if I'm walking through a busy airport, my brain just sees crowd, baggage claim, and says, yep, looks normal, proceed.
Exactly.
It doesn't actually register the person in a heavy coat in 85-degree heat who's just lingering by a trash can.
No, because that anomaly, that potential danger signal, it just gets filtered out. Your brain doesn't want to spend the calorie budget to process it. It's a failure of selective attention.
It's the visual version of autopilot.
That's a great way to put it.
And we need to smash that autopilot button. Now, what's fascinating here is the countermeasure they propose. The right-to-left interrupt.
This is foundational. It's all about forcing cognitive friction. Forcing your eyes to sweep from the far right of your vision to the far left is completely unnatural for us.
It breaks that reading habit.
It completely disrupts it.
And what does that disruption achieve inside your head?
It just disables the brain's ability to skim. It can't anticipate. When the visual data comes in reverse, your brain has no choice but to treat every single object, every shadow, every person as a new piece of data.
So it costs energy.
It does. It feels like real effort at first, but it eliminates that inattentional blindness. You stop seeing the brain's edited highlights and start seeing reality as it actually is.
You're forcing your internal operating system to run a full diagnostic on everything. Okay, so that cognitive friction, that's step one.
Once you've broken that filtering habit, the next job is to establish what's real for the context you're in. You can't spot a threat until you define normal.
The baseline.
The baseline. It's the unique heartbeat of that specific environment.
Yeah.
And it's hyper-local. It changes constantly.
Yeah, the sources had some really good contrasting examples for this. Let's compare two of those high-density zones.
Okay, take the Denver baseline downtown. Normal, there is people in, high-end outdoor gear, moving fast, holding coffee, maybe listening to a podcast. They have a purpose.
Right, focused, but a little distracted by their phone or their destination.
Now contrast that with a high-threat baseline, say a crowded market in a less secure part of the world. Normal, there might be quick head movements, avoiding eye contact, a kind of hurried energy.
And the person who's aggressively loitering, the one who's stationary but laser-focused, they become the anomaly.
Exactly. The anomaly is just whatever violates that heartbeat. If the crowd is moving at 3 miles an hour and one person is stock still or moving way too fast against the flow, that's an anomaly.
And the sources stress this point. You're not looking for evil.
No, not at all.
You are just looking for different.
Different raises the flag. And once that flag is up, you ignore the face. The face is a master of deception. We're good at faking smiles.
So you immediately move to what you called the anatomy of intent.
Which is really the hands rule.
The hands rule. Okay, so why the hands? Why are they so reliable?
Because they're the delivery system. I mean, whether someone wants to communicate or pick something up or, commit an act of violence, the hands are how the brain's intent gets executed. They just don't lie.
Okay, I have to challenge this a bit just on a practical level.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in a cold city, Denver, or a subway in Chicago in winter, everyone's hands are in their pockets.
Right.
How does the hands rule not just make you instantly paranoid about everyone?
That is a critical question. And the answer is context. It's always context.
Yeah.
If it's 40 degrees outside, hidden hands are the baseline. They're normal.
Okay.
The threat level only goes to yellow when those hidden hands violate the baseline. So, for example, you're inside a mall, it's 72 degrees, and someone has a jacket fully cinched up with their hands deep in the pockets.
That's different.
That requires your attention. It's the unnecessary concealment that matters.
That makes the rule much more surgical, much more useful. So what are the other indicators we should be looking for?
The second is called indexing. This is a really subtle subconscious thing.
Okay.
People concealing an item, especially a weapon, will just repeatedly, almost nervously, touch or adjust it to make sure it's still there. A quick tap on the hip, adjusting a chest pocket.
So that little tap confirms the hidden item is there.
But it really confirms the internal stress of the person carrying it. It's the psychological weight of anticipating you might have to use it.
And the third indicator?
Tension. Just look for the muscular reaction in the hands. White knuckles, repetitive clenching, an unnaturally tight grip on a phone. Even if their face is calm, that tension tells you their body is primed for sudden action.
So we've trained the brain to scan and the eye to read intent through the hands. Now let's move from just observing to actually moving through an environment.
Right, dynamic action.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because the first thing we have to defeat is our own biology, our own stress response.
Stress triggers immediate tunnel vision. Your mind just locks onto the immediate obstacle, the person right in front of you, and you lose all ability to anticipate problems 50 feet away.
So to beat that, the protocol uses the 50-foot rule.
Yes.
How does a regular person on a sidewalk even use a 50-foot measurement?
You aim your primary focus 50 feet ahead of you, kind of like you're sighting down a rifle, but horizontally.
And your peripheral vision handles the immediate stuff.
Exactly. Your peripheral is great at spotting movement, so it keeps you from bumping into people. But your conscious mind is scanning that 50-foot zone for something called the clump.
The clump? What's that?
The clump is any sudden unnatural density in the crowd. It could be a security check, a group gathering for something, or the very first sign of a panic.
And if you wait until you're 10 feet away.
You just swept up in it. You're part of the herd. By spotting that clump 50 feet away, you gain precious lead time. A few seconds to just smoothly change your path and avoid the pressure.
That gives you proactive control. Okay, let's talk about the architecture of survival. Mentally mapping a location into hard points.
This is so important. In modern buildings, especially retail or hotels, most of what looks solid is completely useless for protection.
Right, the sources really stress the difference between concealment and cover.
A vital distinction. Concealment just hides you. A curtain, a plywood partition.
It offers zero protection.
Zero. You're just a stationary target they can't see for a second.
And cover?
Cover provides actual physical protection. A concrete pillar, a steel I-beam, an engine block. The problem is modern places are deceptive. They prioritize looks over structure.
That beautiful marble column might just be drywall.
It might be drywall wrapped around a steel core. You have to identify the core.
And the mental exercise is to daisy chain these points. So if an alarm goes off, you're not looking around for safety.
Your body should already be moving toward the first hard point you identified when you walked in. It has to be instinct.
Which leads right into the exit 2 strategy.
Yes, for getting out in an emergency. The idea of a crowd crush, that bottleneck, it's terrifying.
And the primacy effect is really that strong. People just try to leave the same way they came in.
Historically, yes. In extreme stress, the brain defaults to the last successful action, entering through the main door. So that area instantly becomes a kill zone, a crush zone.
And the ghost move is knowing that's a trap.
The ghost move is the immediate identification of exit 2. The side fire exit, a service door, the kitchen entrance. It's your ejection seat. While everyone else is jammed up at the front, you're already moving down a path of less resistance.
We're getting into more advanced observation now, dealing with intentional distractions.
Right.
The sources talk about urban threats that operate in a pack using A and B roles. Role
Absolutely.
A is the distraction. Drops a tray of dishes, starts a loud fight.
Triggers a car alarm, something to make everyone look.
And role B is the actor.
Mm-hmm.
And they move opposite the direction of the noise.
Critically, yes. If the fight is on the north side of the room, everyone looks north. The actor moves south to pick a pocket, plant an item, whatever their goal is.
So the counterintuitive rule here is the out-of-the-box rule.
Yes. When a loud noise happens, your primal instinct is to look at it. You have to fight that urge. Do not look at the noise.
Instead, you look at the people who are not looking at the noise.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, anyone who ignores that sudden sensory event is either highly trained
Or they're in on it.
or they are actively involved. They are your immediate threat indicators because they have awareness or intent that the average person doesn't.
This level of active scanning, it must be mentally exhausting,
It is.
especially in places engineered for sensory overload, what the sources call sensory chaff, a casino floor or a massive train station.
That excessive input is designed to cause decision fatigue. Your awareness system literally burns out, and when it does, you go right back to being a passive participant.
So the protocol has a countermeasure for that too.
It's mandatory. Tactical pauses.
And how do you do that in a crowded place without looking, I don't know, vulnerable?
You find a cold zone every hour or so. It's not an exit, it's just a moment of defensive architecture. The easiest way is to just back yourself into a solid wall or a corner.
Eliminates 180 degrees of threat.
Instantly. You cut the area you need to observe in half.
And once you're in that cold zone,
You reset your nervous system. The best tool is box breathing. It's simple. 4 seconds in, hold for 4. 4 seconds out, hold for 4.
I've heard of this.
It consciously engages your parasympathetic nervous system. It reverses the stress hormones, brings your heart rate down, and clears that cognitive fog so you can re-enter the hot zone with a fresh baseline.
This has been an incredibly intensive deep dive. We've covered the right-to-left scan, the hands rule, the 50-foot rule, cover versus concealment, the exit-to strategy, and tactical pauses. So
Right.
what does this all mean for you, for the listener?
I think it means you're consciously rejecting that default state of distraction. This whole practice, it's about presence. It is not about paranoia.
Okay.
And this level of awareness, it helps you in the mundane just as much as in the extreme. You see the car about to run the red light a half second sooner. You spot the tension in the empty hands of someone asking for directions.
You stop being someone things happen to, and you start being someone who controls their reaction to things happening.
And that leads us to a final thought for you. The source material mentions sketching a tactical baseline map
On a napkin.
on an imaginary napkin. So we challenge you to practice this. The very next time you walk into a new public space, a restaurant, a lobby, take 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds.
Mentally sketch it.
Mentally sketch the baseline, identify the hard points of cover, and locate exit 2. That simple 5-second assessment is how you begin to truly live the ghost protocol. It's how you reclaim your status as an actor in your own survival.